Tommy,
What's up, my man?
good
How we doing?
afternoon.
Yes, sir. It doesn't feel like it, but yes.
We
Good
are
to see you, man.
live. Good to see you, man. I see you got that Rays shirt.
We're
Not a
not.
great day today.
No, we don't want to talk about it.
No,
It's all
I
good.
don't. Yeah, it was just not a good day. They better win tomorrow, though.
Tomorrow's a whole new day, man.
Oh. This is episode 97. 3 more episodes away from
Man,
100.
It's crazy.
Tom, are you ready?
I am ready, man. I think we got a little music to play to start it off.
You got it.
Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be a delivered this deep six.
Evening. This is the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. This is episode 97.
97, baby.
To 100. How are you guys all doing today?
Man, it's I feel like this is the same way we start off every podcast, but it's so weird to think that 97 and we're 3 away from 100. Like it's almost unthinkable. I think one of the best things we ever got to do is this with this podcast was interview Chris Van Vliet. And one of the things he said was, just keep going. Most podcasts don't make it to, 15, 30. Here we are 3 away from making it to 100, man. Like I think that's a commitment to, or kind of a look into the fact of how much we're committed and the amount of work we put into everything going on here. We have our own t-shirt store. We do a bunch of stuff with, watch alongs and after and post show or pre and post shows for every pay-per-view. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it. And I know it's kind of hard for us to find a consistent schedule with the way that our, kind of work schedules outside of this are filled, but it's been a wild ride, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it grows from here.
So check out what I got today.
Okay, hit me with it.
This is a big find, and Tom, if I were you, I would probably get to your local Target.
Okay.
Today was random, but usually like on a Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, go to Target, and you can get yourself your very own 40th anniversary He-Man action figure.
Yeah, you a big He-Man fan, Master of the Universe?
Well, here's the thing. The original action figure goes for about $20,000 right now.
Okay.
And that it actually might be more. It actually might be more.
Jeez.
It might be more. So this baby is going to get sealed up really nice.
Yeah.
And put away. And maybe in about 10 or 20 years from now, I can probably make about 15, 20 grand off that thing.
Hey, there you go, man.
Did you not?
There you go.
What are you collecting these days? Other than the baseball cards we talked about.
Other than the baseball cards, I mean, yeah, I still have all the AEW figures still in their boxes. There's a few that I need to get. My parents normally give me some of them for Christmas, but outside of that, in my Blu-ray collection, man, I like to. I don't know if you've heard of the Criterion collection, which is just a bunch of like steelbook cases. That's what I like to get. So I think of probably it's got to be at least $1,300 worth of movies in my collection at some point.
Dang, movie night at Tommy's. Let's go.
Yeah, movie night at my place. Hey, the invite's open, man. Whoever wants to come join, it's there. I got something for everybody.
So we had a pretty interesting week, and we'll talk more about collecting stuff at a later point. But
yeah, if you haven't made the observation, we're both really, really big nerds, and we're proud of it. So
yes, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got a Wanda. I came across a Wanda Franco rookie card. I got O'Neal Cruz.
Man, he's looked so good since he's been back. Man, he's got like 5 hits and 8 at bats.
Yep,
I love it.
O'Neal Cruz. I got Jonathan India.
Okay.
You always got to watch out for those rookies.
Hey man, I'm telling you, I got to see O'Neal Cruz because he played, the Pirates AAA team is the Indianapolis Indians. So I got to see him play a little bit before, and man, the Pirates got something there. That kid, he can flat out play.
Oh gosh, when
The
he
future,
connects.
the future of baseball, especially with yesterday's kind of rule changes. I think baseball again. I said it when we started this podcast. I think wrestling was on an upswing. I think baseball's back. Going to be back in the limelight here pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we had a pretty interesting week of wrestling.
Yeah, a little bit of a fallout. That's for sure.
Did you know that was one of the podcast idea names, the Fallout Pro Wrestling Podcast?
Hey, I mean, it would have worked.
In the beginning, a proposed name was actually going to be the Fallout Pro Wrestling Podcast instead of Aftermath. But that was well before I came up with the Aftermath.
Excuse me.
But
man,
we
that's
had quite a bit of a fallout.
I mean, it fits the same bill. Yeah, we did.
AEW kind of, I had to say, AEW took this week's news. They stole some of the buzz this week. WWE had a good week. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're progressing, they're building. They had a return of Braun Strowman, which we'll talk about later. But
they've been really consistent for a really long time.
Yeah, but AEW kind of stole the buzz this week.
Yeah.
Donez, Kay, how you doing, man? Good afternoon. Thank you so much for hopping on. And if you have any input you want to share about the Cmpunk stuff we're about to talk about, please join in.
Yeah, man.
And anybody else that comes in. But anyhow, so we knew about the title change. We told when we were last on here on Monday, we were kind of still gathering information. We knew what happened at this point when we did our AEW post show, but we didn't know the full details. We were kind of generalizing. Now we kind of have a little bit of a better, obviously.
Suspensions have been put in place. Yeah.
So, CM Punk getting very frustrated on that media scrum following AEW All Out, which ended at almost 12 midnight. And here are these guys, people fighting in the back room at like 2 o'clock in the morning, which is really 1 a.m. Chicago time. But CM Punk airing out his frustrations about Hangman Page going to business for himself. And had he kind of kept that stuff in the house, we would have just all assumed that it was a work. But he decides to get on the media scrum and puts Hangman Page on blast. He puts the Young Bucks on blast, saying that, and MJF, saying that he works with a bunch of children, that the EVPs of the AEW, which obviously everybody knows is Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, saying that they could barely even manage a target if they wanted to. Just all these insulting things.
Yeah.
And Colt Cabana, he did not hold back one bit. He's just chilling there, no filter whatsoever. Eating his muffins.
Funny. Is that ironic that his name's Phil?
Yeah. Eating his muffins. Tony Khan probably just doesn't know what to make with it, just shaking his head. But anyhow, as we all know, that leads to the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega apparently kicking down the door of CM Punk's locker room. That leads to an altercation. One thing leads to another. Punches are thrown. Ace Steel throws a chair, hits Nick Jackson.
We love it.
Unbelievable. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Ace. They're saying Ace Steel is the one that bit somebody else.
Bit Kenny. Bit and pulled his hair. I love Ace Steel.
Oh my god. So I mean, I think there was instigation on both sides, but it just went to a whole nother level.
I don't think here's the grand scheme of thing. I think just to kind of like put it in perspective, I don't think we'll ever get the full story. I think we've kind of been hearing from both sides what's going on, and a little bit recently. We've seen kind of Punk side kind of back off on what exactly happened, but yeah, I think this will be just we never know the true story.
Yeah, Donays. Should Punk be fired? Well, he's awfully really close to being fired. Let me tell you. I
think I'm too biased to answer that question.
I'm on the fence. I mean, listen, he basically insubordinated his boss, his company, and his coworkers on live social media, where thousands and thousands upon thousands are gonna be watching this. So he's the one that really instigated it. Should he be fired? I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning probably towards yes, because he's been a problem everywhere he goes. But not to take away from his talent, though, his ability to wrestle, his ability to tell stories and draw. Nobody's ever complaining about that. But when you're a problem, everywhere you go, there's a common denominator. CM Punk's been that common denominator wherever he's been. I mean, I'm really on the fence. I'm really on the fence here. And then we just found out news that CM Punk is going to be out 6 to 8 months because he injured himself in a match. In that match on Sunday night. So,
from what I heard, he injured himself in the backstage fight.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? But
who knows? But this is according to Fightful. Fightful Select. But he could have very well been injured during the match. I didn't see any indication of an injury during the match or after. But then again, I slept through 75% of that match, a little bit after the beginning and a little before the end, because I was tired because these previews go on for 5 hours all the way to 12:30 at night.
Correct.
So anyhow, I'd have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is tough for me to answer that, just because, I mean, it's pretty well known. My all-time favorite wrestler is CM Punk. I have like 4 or 5 shirts of his, got his Blu-ray, got his action figure, like all that stuff. I was shocked in the sense of I really did think that it was a work when it happened and not a shoot promo. Obviously, now we're kind of learning that he did just go into business for himself. So I'm just going to keep my opinion on what should happen to myself.
I'm like, this is going to go either way with CM Punk. Something has to change here, though.
He's either going to come back and be a heel or he's going to get fired.
Something has to change with that. There has to be a stiff penalty for sure. But he's going to be gone for a long time. Cooler heads could eventually prevail.
Yeah.
Ace Steel?
Sadly.
He's probably gone bye-bye. Yeah. No official word of that yet. Further investigations are being done. Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, Kenny Omega, they're getting a slap on the wrist. Big slap on the wrist.
No, they're getting suspended.
Suspended, yeah. They're suspended. Yeah. I would expect them to be gone for 1 to 2 months, probably.
I'd say it's going to be at least a little while, just because I feel like, one, as we know that there's like a third party coming in to investigate everything that happens. So I'm sure that their suspension will last past that. And then I think now if you take the extreme of, kind of stripping the trios title and putting it on someone new, I think you need to just be like, okay, like they're going to be gone for 3 to 4 to 5 months. That's what I'm thinking.
I expected. I even texted the guys. I may have even told you on Monday. I don't even know who I told, but I did mention that I suspected that the titles are definitely getting vacated for sure.
Yeah, and we saw both of them get vacated at the very beginning of Wednesday. Yeah,
at the very beginning of AEW Dynamite, you see Tony Khan's mug on TV,
who gets booed hardcore. He got booed like tough.
He got booed because of his handling the situation. But anyhow. So we're gonna see. They announced trios titles getting vacated. The AEW titles getting vacated, which we'll go into in a couple moments. So there was a kind of reset here, and I don't know if you noticed. I noticed that the Bucks and Omega and Punk were all omitted out of the
intro.
AEW video opener intro.
Yep. And that's why I'm curious about the video game, because Hangman and or not Hangman, Kenny and Punk's in the center of the cover. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on with that. But yeah, man, it's there was an immediate change from the show. I mean, we got the 6-man tournament announced for or I think they called it the Grand Slam tournament for the AEW Championship. John Moxley, Chris Jericho both get buys. We saw Hangman and Bryan Danielson and Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin this week, to figure out who would move on to the second round. So I think in that case, you get 6 of your best guys, 6 of the guys who you think are, those who define your company that aren't the Elite and aren't CM Punk. I think they did a good job with that. I think the matches that we saw this week were great.
Oh, and the trios match we got, and that was a good call by
correct.
Picking
I like that
triangle. Yeah. So it was basically the 2 runner-ups to the actual winner from Sunday.
And I wish
the 2 runner-ups, that triangle and Best Friends is awesome.
I wish the outcome would have been different. I feel like Best Friends have been kind of like that second fiddle team, and they really are just over as hell, and they deserve that win. But I think it was as bad of a situation that AEW was put in after All Out. I think Wednesday was a really, and I hate this cliche, but I think it was a really good step forward. I think it was, let's get back on the right track. We're moving ahead. That's in the past. I think they did a good job with that.
Yeah, Wednesday was a great show. So let's see. This is where we're at right here. I'm going to post it right now. This is a tournament that's going to culminate by next.
It's going to culminate at Grand Slam. Yeah,
Grand Slam next Wednesday. Yeah, so we got Chris Jericho and then we had Bryan Danielson. That's going to be one match. If I'm not mistaken, who got the bye on that side? I know Moxley got the bye.
It was Jericho.
So Jericho and
Bryan
Moxley got the
Danielson
buys.
beat Hangman. Yeah.
So Jericho and Moxley got the buys
in a great
going
match
into this week. But yeah, we have Bryan Danielson defeating Hangman, which is awesome. So that is going to set us up for Bryan Danielson versus Jericho. Yep. And then we got Sammy Guevara winning his match last night against Darby Allin with a little cheating on his side. The Darby Allin skateboard came into play, and and then it was all with the referee's back turned. So Sammy Guevara got the win there. So we're going to see Sammy Guevara and John Moxley on the other side. So the winners of these 2 matches that you see will be in the finals next Wednesday for the AEW Championship. I'm going to make a bold statement, and I even said it before the matches got underway, that I have a feeling Bryan Danielson's winning this one.
Yeah.
I have a because just think about what happened in 2014 on the way to WrestleMania 30 when CM Punk was decided to act up and leave the company right away. Bryan Danielson then got Dana Bryan at the time got thrusted into the main event spot to go against Triple H and win later that night at WrestleMania 30. So it's just how things would come full circle again if Bryan Danielson wins this tournament, becomes champion as a benefit of CM, as a result of CM Punk leaving for going away for at least a while. I can definitely see that happening here. Although,
man,
John Moxley cut a very convincing promo on Wednesday too.
Yes, yeah. If you didn't see Moxley's promo, what Brian Alvarez from the Wrestling Observer put it as is, I can't do it justice. Just go watch it because it was that good.
Yeah, it's hard.
Again, in a sense, I think it was that reset the AEW needed. It was just like, look, everybody knows what happened in the news. We saw it, boom, let's get it on. Here's the thing with this tournament. We're already getting a rematch of Jericho Bryan, which we just saw. Very good. So if it's Bryan who wins that, then you get a kind of matchup of Blackpool Combat Club with Moxley Jericho or Moxley Bryan, which I think will be a very good match, but that's a tough one to call. You could either go Moxley Part 3 as the champion, or you could have Bryan, like you said, be the first, his first chances as AEW. If it's Jericho, then we get a rematch of Lionheart versus Moxley, which I think is a little bit more predictable. But again, you could also pull the plug with Jericho. I mean, he was your first champion. It's not like he's bad, and he's really been on a roll recently. So I only think the person out of here is Guevara. I think he has no chance. But the other three, I think, all have a viable argument to win. So part of me says they're leaning towards Moxley just because of that promo. He's the guy. But also, they brought him off vacation. He was expected to get a vacation and, had to do that really like hardcore promo. So I honestly think the winner on the left side of the bracket is going to be in whether it's Jericho or Bryan. I think that's going to be the guy we see kind of carry the mantle for a while, which is interesting. But even if they don't carry it, I think we'll see MJF, use that chip at Grand Slam, and he might be the next champion. So if I had to put a giant prediction on, I think whoever gets the win at Grand Slam is going to get immediately cashed in by MJF. We'll see Stokely Hathaway's group kind of play a factor, and I think MJF's going to be the next champion.
I think that's very well possible because, first off, Sean Ross Sapp, as you guys know, I listen to him a lot. He's one of the most reliable reporters. But these people, they got to get their geography right. Like, they're saying, I don't see MJF winning this until it goes back to Long Island. Queens, Flushing, Queens, where Grand Slam is being taken place, is part of Long Island. You don't need to take a bridge to get to Queens. It's all attached. So, Queens is part of Long Island. So, technically, MJF, Grand Slam, where Grand Slam is being taken place, is about 15 to 20 minutes tops away from where MJF lives.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm trying to say here is Grand Slam is on Long Island, and he potentially could win it there. Now, there's also the possibility that maybe they don't convolute it just yet, but we have AEW Full Gear, which is about after Grand Slam, about another 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
Does he do 6 to 8 weeks away.
Does he do the Cena and like announce it in advance?
I'm not sure. It could, but Newark, New Jersey is basically not far from Long Island. You just have to get on the other side of Manhattan. So you're going to be seeing a lot of people from Long Island going to Newark. They could do something there. And also I hear Winter is Coming. It's also going to be on Long Island, in the USBC arena where the Islanders play, which is also maybe about 10, 15 minutes away from MJF lives, which that arena is about 10 minutes away from Grand Slam. So what I'm saying is Grand Slam, where it's being taken place, is on Long Island.
Yeah.
The change could happen as late as as early as next week.
Yeah, at one point of this year, MJF will be AEW World Champion. Let's just put it there.
And did you see his promo, his entrance?
So the Buffalo
Wednesday
Bills
night, the Buffalo Bills, and
he's saying Josh
playing
Allen
a part
sucks,
as a heel, and then he
Josh
switches.
Allen went out and threw 4 tutties, had 4 touchdowns. So yeah, that was great. I loved it.
MJF had a huge pop when he
and you could
arena,
tell,
and he was
man.
playing to the crowd, and then he switched, and it was great.
You could tell though by Moxley's look, he really did not want to be there. He was really pissed off. He was missing his vacation.
Yeah, I think Moxley's still gonna get the time off.
Which is why I don't think he wins.
I don't think he wins. I think he's gonna get a little time off, maybe a couple weeks, just to be to his family. And yeah, so I really don't have Moxley winning. So that's why I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards that. I would say that if MJF weren't a factor in all this, that maybe you could just start fresh and then see how Sammy Guevara does with the belt.
Oh God!
But with
No.
MJF
No.
looming,
Please God, no.
with that possibility there, I don't know how you set that up. So that's why I kind of have Sammy Guevara. It's not really even a dark horse at this point.
I think
he's taking the L. I think he might cheat to beat Moxley and then get to the finals, which is very possible. That would make sense. Have him and Daniel Bryan.
If Punk is the first person this year to beat Moxley, and then the second person is Guevara, I think the crowd would go ape shit.
No, it would be by cheating though. It would be by cheating. So it wouldn't
that's
be clean.
fair.
It would be clean. You can't have that clean. Not now. But
I
now,
can see that. I guess
I want to ask you really quick before we move on. What do we do about the EVP situation? Does Kenny Omega, Young Bucks stick around as EVP, or should they even be in those roles if they're going to be talent as well?
That's such a tough question, man, because I didn't live in the era of like Nash being a wrestler, but also being the head booker, and same with like guys like Kevin Sullivan and stuff. Like I wasn't around in that time, but man, it's tough. I feel like there's always going to be that part of where it's just like, oh well, top guys are protected kind of thing. And in a sense, the top guys should be protected. But if you own a stake in the company or you're in the background, moving around a lot of the pieces, that's just always going to bring you some sort of backstage heat at a point. And so I can't say that Tony has the power to like remove them. I'm sure he does, but it just, I don't know, man. Either you do one or you do the other. I think that's the thing, or you move on. You go to a different company. I know we just saw a report from Cultaholic and some other wrestling outsiders that Young Bucks are putting out feelers to WWE. Like this is the craziest situation I think we've been a part of.
That could all just be.
It could be smoke and mirror.
It could be smoke in a mirror, just because a lot of these, news reporters, these websites like to, make up stuff as they go along just to get hits on their websites, and I wouldn't doubt that it happened as they're friends with Cody, but at the same time, it could be just smoke in the mirror because that's the easiest thing to do. It's clickbait. I'm not too sure if I see that, but with Triple H at the helm, I wouldn't put a pass on it either. My point is that if you're a talent, you should not be EVP. It's kind of either one or the other at this point.
Yeah.
Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. I don't know.
It's a tough situation. It really is, because are you, in a sense, you're looking out for the entire roster, but in also a sense, trying to make your own money. Like there's always that yes and yes on that. I think Miro and Eddie should both have been in that, especially over Guevara.
Yeah, I think Eddie or Miro should have been in there. Maybe Eddie, because hometown. And maybe have Eddie win it, and then have
Eddie versus Moxley. Come on, I mean, I know they're friends, but like that story's perfect. Just let them beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, and then have MJF do his thing on either one of those guys. It would have made sense. Because now we're like in a position where it's going to be like Blackpool Combat Club guys are probably going to go against each other more than likely.
Yeah.
The only way to protect that is Jericho cheats to win. And but
the EVP thing, it's just you are looking out for the roster. You are looking out for the betterment of the company. You're trying to make money for the company, but in a sense, you're still Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega. Like you got to be those guys in your own your own right. Like, so not saying that they push themselves to win the trios title first, but it is just it's a very slippery slope when you are in charge, but you're also a talent. And I think that there has to be a barrier between that. You didn't see John Cena being a senior consultant to Vince McMahon or something. He was the main talent, but he wasn't like that. But you see guys who have been, creative control. I hate that. Anytime you get a contract that's creative control, I think is absolute BS, because you can do whatever you want. You can veto any kind of story. You can say, I know I want this. I want to win the championship, like Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash. We've seen it with a lot of people, especially in early wrestling and especially in the later 90s. But any person who has that, Jeff Jarrett is another great example. Any person who has that role of being a talent, but also in a sense being in charge, it's such a slippery slope. And I think you either choose one or the other.
For sure, absolutely, and that's probably I feel that what's going to happen eventually. Well, let's tie a bow on AEW talk really quick, and then we're going to talk a little WWE. Not a very big week in WWE. It's AEW kind of took the headlines this week, and possibly for next week too. But we see Daniel Garcia win the ROH Pure Wrestling title. In a great match against Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta has been one of my favorites to watch for a little while now. But we see Bryan Danielson congratulate Daniel Garcia with the handshake. Much appreciated from Daniel Garcia.
Puts the title on him.
Puts the title on him. Yeah. Wheeler Yuta got a little jealous here when Bryan Danielson was to shake his hand, and Wheeler Yuta gave a little shove to Bryan Danielson there. Nothing too major, but kind of just pushed him off a little bit.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely a little heat, and that's something to keep an eye on. Whether Daniel Garcia officially joins Blackpool Combat Club, I'm not too sure if that's actually happening yet, but it looks like it could head that way.
Yeah, it really does, which would be nice. I mean, I think that would be kind of that person that needs to fill in for the group, while Moxley's gone, and it gives them a good tag team. If Yuta and Garcia can kind of find their mix, I think they're kind of the, I forget the word for it, but just two kind of random dance partners that you could put together, and it works out. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see this kind of development from this.
Also announced for next week, due to the praise that it got from the AEW locker room and the fans, we're seeing a return match for the AEW tag team titles.
Yes,
the Acclaimed against Swerve and Keith Lee.
Acclaimed has to win there.
He is winning there. I think they got to win there next week.
Yeah,
they I knew
not this upcoming Wednesday, the following Wednesday.
Yeah, at Grand Slam.
Yeah.
I knew. We even talked about it on the show a couple days ago on Monday, that this tag team match that they had at All Out elevated the Acclaimed right away, and it showed that they belonged there. And that match was so well done. They could have not done any wrong whatsoever. So I believe we're getting the Acclaimed with the tag team championship win as they scissor each other on the way to glory. Yeah. Anyhow, moving on, we have a couple things that went on with the WWE this week as we start coming in for landing here. Raw was a pretty good show, another enjoyable show. Smackdown, a couple news and notes really quick, but we see the return of Braun Strowman. He looked great, didn't he?
Yeah, man.
Hey, did you see what he did last night on SmackDown?
Yeah, on SmackDown, the power bomb to Otis.
That
was
my
great,
gosh!
Man. And here's the thing, man. You said Braun looks great. Like, it was good to see him back, but my gosh, man, like Braun looks great. Like, the dude is in tip-top shape. Like, he looks...
Except for when he tripped Monday night in ringside.
Correct. But I'm glad he's not controlling his narrative anymore. And, he actually does look in phenomenal shape. So, yeah, good for him. I think he'll fit really well on SmackDown. I think he'll kind of be that top mid-tier babyface that you kind of need. And it works out. So, yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him, especially under Triple H's guys and not under Vince's.
Yeah. Bobby Lashley defeats The Miz in the steel cage on Monday night.
That camera shot, though. Oh, my goodness.
Yes. You're talking about Dexter Lumis?
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
And that is exactly where I was going. That was like creepy 101, and that was a well job. I don't think Braun Strowman interacts with the Bloodline just yet. That could be like an in-between feud later on.
I love to see a continuation of his and Roman's story.
Maybe by Royal Rumble, because nobody's beating Roman Reigns except for possibly Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
I strongly believe Cody Rhodes is the guy.
I'd love to see Braun and Roman kind of reenact their rivalry from earlier. Now, obviously, Roman is a lot bigger on the totem pole, so if they're going to be throwing chairs and slamming each other through the entrance ramp and ambulance matches and all that stuff, I'm all for it. I'd love to see badass Strowman. Versus...
I don't think we see that any earlier than Survivor Series or Royal Rumble.
Oh, I don't
Royal
think
Rumble the latest.
I hope we don't see it till after Roman loses the title.
Really?
I hope they keep it away from each other. I hope it's kind of like an extension of Roman's downfall storyline, after he loses, and then whatever happens with The Rock and all that stuff. Like,
yeah,
I'd love to see that. Make Roman the biggest babyface. By the time, okay, here's how I plan it. I think Cody wins. I think Rock beats Roman at WrestleMania. And then I think
you don't think it's Cody Roman at WrestleMania?
I think they can get it through before then. I really do. I just don't see a point where it's not Cody or Roman Rock. That's a whole nother conversation, but it's just...
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if Cody's healthy enough, maybe Cody can win the Rumble.
Yeah.
And beat Roman. Seth wins the Rumble. You got Cody, Seth at WrestleMania. Then you got Roman Rock at WrestleMania.
Correct. That's where I'm
Cody
leaning
can get
towards.
Back in time, but he wasn't originally slated to come back till March.
Yeah,
but it could be sooner though.
Who knows? Super Saiyan, all that stuff. But I want to see Roman lose to the Rock. I want to see Rock kind of get that win and then go off and not come back. Be away. He doesn't need to have the title. He doesn't need to go out on the loser on his back or anything. I think it's a good kind of thing. We see the downfall of the Bloodline. I think Jay gets another shot with Roman. I think that's a great story to continue. And by that time, you can kind of build Strowman back up as like this monster heel. And boom, biggest baby face in the world is Roman, after his run. And then he's going to get Strowman.
Yeah, there are reports that Roman doesn't want this character as a babyface. So
yeah, well,
I don't think you need to.
Let me have my fantasy booking.
I mean, listen, he could turn babyface, but he's got to kind of have to keep that edge to him a little bit.
I tried for months to call Drew to win, so I need my new fantasy booking for a while. So that's it.
Last night on SmackDown, man, we had a banger of a 6-man tag, Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Sheamus is hot all of a sudden.
Gosh,
the fans were going nuts.
Who would have thought we'd be saying that, man?
The fans were going nuts.
He is over like Rover.
I haven't seen Sheamus this over.
Yeah, it's impressive, man. That again, it shows, and I kind of tweeted it out. It's crazy that, granted, This match did get 5 stars. Him and Gunther's match, Clash of
I
Class
don't know
Castle.
why Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars. It's up
What?
there. I was giving it 4.5. I'll watch it
Oh
again.
my gosh!
I'll watch it again. Oh, they're going at it right now. They're going at it
Come
right now.
on.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm not too sure if it was a 5-star,
That's
but
totally
it was close.
5 stars, and it's the fact that that's only the 5th match that's been 5 stars since I was born, and I think that's a joke. I think there's been a lot of WWE matches that have been 5 stars.
Yeah, NXT Gargano and
even not just
Andrade in Philadelphia.
Even not just NXT. I think WWE has had a lot of good matches that have been severely underrated. So I'll keep my piece on that one. But yeah, man, it was. It'll be interesting to see. I think now WWE knows they have to pull the trigger and let Sheamus beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title and let him be the ultimate Grand Slam champion.
I would do it in Survivor Series.
Yep, I agree.
I would do it in Survivor Series.
I think you rerun the 6-pack or the 6-man tag at Extreme Rules. Throw a nice little stipulation in there. And then Survivor Series, that's the match you go with.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. Kind of drag it out till then for sure. But yeah, the fans they had the fans eating out of their hands. It was a well-booked match, nonstop. It went 3 commercials, I believe.
Now I will say though,
commercials.
Sorry.
It was almost a half hour long.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I would love to see Gunther versus Bobby Lashley at Survivor Series. If it happens. That'd be phenomenal. Because the United States versus IC.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Brand.
Yeah, but I also hate the brand shit, so.
Yeah,
pick your poison.
It could be a good match for sure.
Either match would be phenomenal, but
it could be a good match for.
I'd much rather see the coronation of Sheamus there.
It could be a great match for sure. There's no doubt about it. But they got to get away from this red versus blue stuff.
Yes, correct.
I've had it, and I believe this year's Survivor Series, regardless of what they do, it's going to feel important, even if it's still red versus blue. But really, it's the same company. You know, if we're gonna do, it's I'm not about this in-house competition stuff. I mean, it's one brand. The brand split should be gone. Manage your world champion better. Have Roman on Raw one week. Have Roman on SmackDown the week after. And do it that way. So this way, Fox or USA doesn't have to complain that much.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but that's when Roman's ready to travel. Yes. So this Survivor Series coming up in 2 months. It's going to be built with a lot of importance. 2 more things. Ronda Rousey is the new #1 contender of Liv Morgan, so that story is going to continue. That will be Extreme Rules.
Yeah, she's winning.
You believe Ronda's winning?
Sorry, Liv. Yeah.
I hope so. Because I just feel like more work on this title run could be done, and
heel Ronda
just needs to kind of get away, for a while.
Oh, really? You don't think she's winning?
I don't think Ronda's winning.
Oh, wow.
I won't be surprised.
Totally disagree.
I won't be surprised. But I don't think she should. I don't think she should.
Heel Ronda's the best. I'll just say that. The only way she doesn't win Extreme Rules is if they continue the story with Adam Pearce.
I think Liv Morgan gets a win here. At least I had some hope. But I like Liv. I'm a big Liv mark, but I'm kind of like over Ronda for now.
That's fair.
Just because I don't know.
Like I'm over Charlotte.
Yeah. I just WWE just kind of needs to keep the fresh product.
It really was so obvious when they announced that Fatal 5-Way last night that she was winning. Like there's no hesitation into anybody else winning.
Last but not least, we got Drew McIntyre in the main event against Solo Sikoa, and Solo Sikoa, now part of the Bloodline, officially called up. Let me tell you, the work that Sami Zayn has done has been
fucking phenomenal.
Sami
I'm
Zayn
so
has been
excited
my
for
favorite
him.
part of SmackDown. Like
yeah,
it's just comical seeing him with Usos every week. I love it. His nuances, him trying to talk like them and act like them, is just phenomenal. Sami Zayn been taking a bullet for one of these guys every single week, and the
The
payoff,
inevitable turn to where he and Kevin come together and beat the Usos for the titles is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this current storyline has plenty of legs, and you could probably drag it out for maybe do the turn at Royal Rumble or around there, and then have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn challenge for the Usos at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
That's
I'd be
I
okay
think
with
that's
that.
one of the best tag matches you can do. But yeah, Drew
Put some
McIntyre.
ladders in there, please.
Yeah, have them go all out.
Yeah.
It's just tornado tag match. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, we see Solo Sikoa
With
in a
Staples.
one-on-one match. Yeah, in a one-on-one match with Drew McIntyre. Solo looks pretty good here. A lot of interference going on. Drew was about to win the match until Karrion Kross comes in and puts the cross jacket chokehold from behind on Drew McIntyre. And I like the way that they produced the whole Drew McIntyre going out. Like, you see the lights go out, and then the commentating's still going, and then it goes off the air.
Yeah.
But Karrion Kross definitely putting out Drew McIntyre's lights last night on SmackDown. So I'm expecting that we're going to see, obviously, Drew versus Karrion Kross there.
Yeah.
Before maybe you do Kross and Roman Reigns, because that's probably the after.
That'll probably be the Survivor Series match.
Maybe?
Yeah, I want to say, or maybe. Yeah, it's tough. Maybe we'll get one more Drew Roman match at Survivor Series, and then they hold off for Karrion until like TLC or something. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
There's intrigue. There's intrigue. We love that.
Yeah. Great. Overall, another great week of wrestling. AEW kind of won the buzz this week for sure. WWE had another good week, with the return of Braun and a couple cool things, and they're building up. They're in the middle of their build for the next pay-per-view, which is expected. It's just Extreme Rules, which should be October on a Saturday. I might think about going to that. I gotta see.
There you go.
But yeah, it's in Philadelphia. It's about like 3 hours from here, so I might drive. But anyhow, so we got the bill going there. AEW definitely won the headlines this week. We'll see how next week goes. But Tommy, that is a wrap. To those of you guys that are watching or about to watch, definitely make sure you're subscribed so you can get all this on the podcast as well. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, but make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Do not forget that this way you get your alerts for the review shows and the post shows as well. Also, do not forget to buy our new t-shirt at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search for the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. T-shirts available in black, gold, or navy blue, and there is an army green if you double click on the black. But for those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Donate.
Hey
thank
man,
you so much for chiming in.
I gotta do a thing. I'm gonna start a new thing. This is off the cuff. I haven't told you about it, but let's do a Tommy pick of the week, man. Let's do a random match that I want you to go watch. Gulf of Mexico match from WWECW. Chavo versus CM Punk. He's been in the news. Go watch out one of my lesser known but underrated matches in my fandom of CM Punk. WWECW, Chavo Guerrero, CM Punk, Gulf of Mexico match. Go check it out. Let us know what you think when we come back here, man. And next week we'll have another Tommy pick of the week. We'll see who's in the news there, and we'll try to make a match based off of it.
Awesome, man. I'm even going to check that out as well.
There you go, man.
On the YouTube right after that. You gave me a little homework there.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody's got their homework, man. I want a full report in the comments after on what this match, what you thought of it.
Those you guys
the only Gulf of Mexico match. Let me say that. The only one of all time. So.
Oh, well. Okay. So that should not... Did Chavo drown in that?
I'm not spoiling what happened, man. You got to go find out and watch for yourself. It just involves one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
I gotta watch this because I fell out of the loop of the ECW.
Yeah.
Later after,
but it was a good match.
Remember
It's a good
December
match, I
to
promise.
December or whatever they call that.
Yes, sir.
I fell out of the loop of ECW and I was just done. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, man.
So there's some ECW stuff that I miss because
You know what? If when you watch this, if you want to put in the YouTube comments, whatever, Facebook, wherever you're watching this from, give me a wrestler. I'll pick one for the next week. If we don't have enough comments, that's fine. I'll do whoever's in the news the most. But we'll find a random match for that Tommy pick of the week. It's starting this week. We're gonna continue it from here on out. So let's get it, man.
Tommy, throw that up on Twitter when you get a chance.
Yes, sir, man.
Throw that up on Twitter. Anyway, those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for joining us this week. That wraps up episode 97, 3 away from episode 100. Yeah, I am trying to get guests for that. We will see. Hopefully, Frank Manzo.
Yes, sir.
We
love
working,
having Frank.
But either way, 100 is a milestone, and we're gonna hit that in just a short while.
There's gonna be some parties. There's gonna be some, something in the background here. It's gonna be crazy. You don't even know. Wayne doesn't know what's happening. Wayne doesn't know what I'm planning for it. It's gonna be a big thing. So might have some special guests of my own here. So it'll be fun, man.
The dog.
Yeah, really. The dog Moose. We might have a friend of the show, Justin. Who knows, man? We'll have a lot of fun here. It's been a wild ride, but we're excited to keep going, man.
Those of you guys that are watching,
two Tommy picks of the week on episode 100.
Tommy 2 picks.
Tommy, we're starting a little rant here. Tommy 2 picks. You know how it goes.
Those of you guys that are watching, you guys have an awesome week. We will see you very soon. Catch you guys later.